A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Thursday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. We're still in the season of the World Cup, so you can forgive us if all we do tonight is to talk about the 2022 FIFA World Cup currently going on in Qatar. It's down to the last two. Of course, we're talking about France and Argentina. We're going to be talking about that. And of course, we'll also spare a thought for what happened yesterday, how it all ended for Morocco. After a gallant fight, it must be said, getting to the semi-final, being the first African country to get to the semi-final. So we'll be talking about all of that even as we move on. And hopefully, we'll be able to throw in a slice of para sports. Especially para sports development in the country. Hopefully, we'll be able to do that towards the end of the show. But for now, all we want to do is to talk about the 2022 FIFA World Cup. It's been a tournament of upsets, and it's been very, very interesting. Of course, on the show tonight, I will not be alone. My colleague, Austin Akpan, who's right there in Doha, will be joining me. We'll be talking about all the things happening right there. And hopefully, we will have Bada Akizune Johnson as well join in as we intend to have extensive discussions and deliberations on what has happened so far at the World Cup. Let me go straight to my colleague, Austin Akpan, who's ready. By the way, greetings to you, Austin. Feels good to do this show with you again today. Now the dust has settled, you can talk to me calmly because you're not watching the game. It's all over now. But let's just take it off from where it all ended yesterday. At that point, when you were leaving, we said it was all over, and it turned out to be so.
Indeed, it was all over after France, got the second goal. But I mean, it's not all over for Moroccans that I've been speaking to right here in Doha. They believe that their team can still make history by beating Croatia and finish third at the World Cup. They believe it will be fantastic for their history. They believe it will do good to the development of Moroccan football. They want to charge the play. They are charging the players to go all out and then give it a sweet ending. But for me, whatever happens in that third place match against Croatia, Morocco should be proud of themselves for what they've done, for the continent, for the development of football in that country. And of course, there are huge lessons that countries such as Nigeria can learn from the Morocco example. But yes, yesterday, and if you check at the start of the second half, they got into it with renewed zeal. They were pushing, but that goal wasn't just coming, And in football, when you consider an early goal and a late goal, then it's all over.
Yeah. All right. Let's do this. Also, hold on a little. Let's do this for the sake of our viewers who might be wondering what happened. I doubt that, though. Just in case you missed that game, I want to quickly let our viewers see that result. It's going to come up on your screen shortly. What Austin has been alluded to, what I've been talking about, and of course, it's that game that ended 2-0 in favor of Le Bleu. And that's what we want to talk about. That sets the context of what we're looking at tonight. It ended 2-0 in favor of France. Morocco played well, had their chances, it could have, gone either way. But at the end of the day, it turns out that France were able to just knock that 2-0. And I hope you're going to see it on your screen. But as we move on the show, all right? So that's it. On the screen. Okay, this is talking about the third place, and we're going to get to this later on the show. Talking about the third place. Oh, talking about the final. This is Argentina, France. Venue is the Lusail Stadium, 4 p.m. This final match, Argentina, France. We're going to look at their journey so far. All right. So let's move on the show. Austin, I want to put you on standby. Let's also bring in Bada Akizune Johnson as we have an interesting discussion on the show. Bada is with us as we talk about all of this happening in the amazing world of sports. Greetings to you, Bada. Thanks for finding out time to be with us on the show tonight.
Well, good evening. Good evening to the viewers. Good evening, everyone. It's always a pleasure to be here. And as the World Cup hits the home stretch, it feels even better to talk about an African team in the conversation. It's never happened in the history of the World Cup before that an African team will be in contention for one of the medal placings. But as Austin said, whether or not the guys win the bronze in this competition, they are heroes forever. They're legends forever. They're the greatest African team to ever have competed at this World Cup since 1930. That's what the facts say. But what a journey it's been for the Moroccans. What a journey. They can look back and maybe rue a few missed chances, rue the fact that they lost a couple of key players to injuries. Roman Saiz, for instance, only managed 21. A patched up Roman Saiz, who's been monstrous for them, only managed 21 minutes before they had to take him off against the French. They had even Mazraoui as well, who wasn't fit to start that game. But I mean, we can only look back and say, shoulda, coulda, as they say, whether or not those would have changed the complexion of the game. We'll never know. But the truth is, these Moroccans have given us a different kind of pride that we've never felt during the FIFA World Cup. And as much of what is said and written in the coming days will be about Argentina and France, we Africans should not allow the focus go away from this Moroccan team, because indeed they have done us incredibly proud.
All right, I know you just said it now. If and what if doesn't really count in football. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's going to remember the final outcome. The final outcome was France and Morocco. But what could the Moroccans, what could they have done differently yesterday? They had good chances. France were on the ropes at some point in that game. And you at some point you were wondering, what else could the Atlas Lions do to get the ball at the back of the net? So it was a loss, but for me, the performance left nothing to be desired.
Not at all. I thought it was a brilliant performance. They started, it was a false start they had, considering a goal early for a team that hasn't conceded at all from the opposition. An opposition player since the beginning of the competition was quite uncharacteristic. But again, I already spoke about the well-documented injury worries they had in defense, so maybe we can forgive them for that. But you would have expected that, considering the goal so early, would have knocked the stuffing out of them, but not these Moroccans. They came back super strong. They got on the front foot. Matter of factly, if I'm not mistaken, that game is probably the one in which this French team has had the least possession since the start of this competition, because it was Morocco that was dictating the play rather. France looking to play on the breakaway using the pace of Kylian Mbappe. France, it must be said, created the better chances. Olivier Giroud should have scored, hit the outside of the post. But Morocco never ever showed any sort of inferiority complex against this French team, even though they are defending champions, even though they are one of the strongest teams in the world. Morocco asked them all kinds of questions. They just couldn't score. They just didn't have that cutting edge. As a matter of fact, I think it was what was the name? The striker who got into a very promising position and should have shot late on. Didn't convert, and the chance went away. And those are the kind of moments that define big competitions, where just a split moment in concentration or hesitation or decision making delay, and the complexion of the game changes completely. But overall, I thought they gave a very good account of themselves. The French don't have to, at least they've shown us in this competition, they don't have to play really, really well to win games. Even against England, they were on the ropes a few times. At some point in that game, it looked like England was going to, run away with it. But Olivier Giroud struck, and the English couldn't come back again. This one again, with Morocco looking likely to get the equalizer, the French just went to the other end and got the killer. So, I don't think that, apart from goal scoring, the Moroccans can be faulted very much in that game. Yeah, we didn't see necessary, at his best. But again, there was a key moment in that game where Sofiane Boufal was fouled, blatantly fouled in the penalty box, and the referee didn't give it. Had the referee pointed to the spot, it would have changed that game. For me, all day, every day, all weekdays and public holidays and weekends, that was a stonewall penalty. Why the referee didn't even go to the monitor, I'll never know. But, there will be debates, there will be contentious moments, there will be controversies, even in the other game. Till tomorrow, people are still debating the legitimacy of Argentina's first goal, which came as a result of a foul by the goalkeeper, on the Man City striker,
Alvarez.
Julian Alvarez. So there will always be those kinds of moments, but you just at this point can only wonder what could have been if that foul on Buffal was given and Morocco stormed back into the game. Whether or not they would have gone on from there to win, we will never know. But the truth of the matter is that they were far from disgraced. They fought valiantly.
Yeah.
Again, the star man for me, Sofiane Amrabat, was harrying and hassling and chasing anything down and winning balls back. And it was said, unconfirmed, though, that after the game, the French president, Emmanuel Macron, actually went into the Moroccan dressing room to tell Amrabat that, as far as he was concerned, Amrabat is the best central midfielder in this particular competition. That's high praise from the president of the opposing team. So,
saying that about
I think they've more than covered themselves in glory, and we should focus on all of the great things they did or they've done rather than what they didn't do.
Yeah, and we've done that already. we've spent a lot of time doing that. Let me switch to Austin quickly. There's this thing we've always been talking about in those days about the gap between the Europeans and the Africans. So I want to quickly get Austin's thoughts on this one. We saw the Atlas Lions play the World Cup defending champions with no fear and everything like that. On the strength of this game, can we say, let me just quickly go to Austin and get his thoughts. On the strength of this game, can we say that the gap has reduced or is virtually non-existent?
It has reduced, and it's not just Morocco as a yardstick. Tunisia beat France. Cameroon beat Brazil. We saw upsets at this, World Cup from African teams, and it's a clear testament that Africa has got the talent, but we just need to, fix things right administratively. And let me use the stats from yesterday's match between Morocco and France to answer the question, so you understand. Morocco had 2 shots on target. France also had 2 shots on target, and that game ended 2-0 in favor of France. It means that France were just efficient, and should we say, had football luck on their side. Now, I'm sure a lot of people didn't even check the ball possession. France had 39, Morocco had 61. It means they bossed the game. It means the Moroccans were in control of the game. If you go to goalkeeper save, France had 2, Morocco had nothing. So you see, that 2 tells the difference. And that's why France went on to win 2-0. So if you look at these stats that I just quoted, then there's even no gap. Morocco was just unfortunate to lose that game yesterday. And that's football for you. When you create those chances, you must take them. And for instance, Ziyech chose the wrongest match not to show up. He didn't do those sort of positional play that we've seen him do at this competition. Maybe wanted to hold the ball some more, not releasing it and getting into position so that he can drag two players with him. So Hakimi can do something. It was just a wrong day for Morocco to lose that match. But the start shows that no gap, Yemi. I like what Morocco has done in this competition. I spoke to some members of their technical committee, and they're saying that they will not stop, that this is a good sign that they need to get back home, pump more investment into their football, give it more attention, and then sustain this momentum.
All right. Also, did they belong to France? But the Moroccan fans were really, really proud of their team. Let's quickly listen to the Moroccan fans, talk about the Atlas Lions, what they've been able to achieve in Qatar, and say really that they're proud of their team in spite of losing to France.
It was a really tough game. I know before the game, everyone knew that it was going to be a tough game. France is champions, They won Russia World Cup, so everyone knew it was a tough game. But we are very proud, especially that Morocco made history. It's the first African and Arab country to make it to the semifinals. So we're all very, very proud of the players. They did their best, you can tell. We missed a lot of chances, but it's fine. And this is like a training for us against Croatia. So I think we'll be more than ready for Croatia. And third place will be ours, hopefully. And it will definitely change a lot of mentalities, especially about the African football. You know what I mean? No one, like the whole world, ever thought that an African team will make it to the semifinal. So that will change a lot of perspective and mentalities about the African football. I think having a Moroccan coach, a young Moroccan coach, helped a lot. Especially, you can tell that he made like a family between the players. All the players, you feel like they love each other, they support each other. So that's number one. Number two, we have like very, very, very successful players. They play in Europe. Some of them play in England, and that's what makes like a good team and a good players.
It was like very, very challenging because like it's politics. It's like we know they were our previous colonizers. We know everyone has like except the pressure of football, they have pressure of like we can prove that we're good too. We can prove that we're like amazing and stuff. But then, I mean, the play was great. Honestly, I'm very proud of them, like the way they played and everything. And they were very good. Like they tried a lot of shots, like to actually score, but then like it didn't happen. And I know that France won the last World Cup, so like it's it makes it harder for them to perform in such way. But then they kind of I felt like at some point they got the trick and like they knew how to play, and then they just played harder and they matched the rhythm of the French people. So like yeah, I'm proud of them.
All right. The Moroccans lost the game, but won the hearts of the whole football world. And whatever happens in Qatar, whether they win the bronze or not, they've won the hearts of everyone, and they've made Africa proud. But Akindele Johnson is still with us. Let me quickly go to him now. I want us to spare a thought for the other semi-final that took place. That was the one you alluded to earlier, Argentina and Croatia. For some, it did turn out some sort of anticlimax. I expected a fight, I had a feeling Argentina might win, but not 3-0. So I can't really say what happened. But let me get your thoughts on that game. Did it turn out to be an anticlimax for you as well?
Well, in a bit of a way, but I can understand why that was the case. I can understand in a bit of a way why it was the case. The Croatian team hasn't been the most attacking team or the most pleasing to watch at this competition. They built their success on being difficult to break down and hurting teams on the breakaway. We saw how they took out Brazil. It was a masterclass in defending and being difficult to break down. And then obviously game went into extra time. They have a man mountain of a goalkeeper who's also super sharp with his reflexes. Saved a couple of penalties, and off they went into the semifinals. This Croatian team, obviously aging in key areas, you thought that having gone the full distance against Brazil, that could have taken something significant away from them from a physical standpoint. But I thought that what won that game for Argentina was Scaloni's master plan, which was they didn't go into that game looking to dominate play. In fact, up until Argentina scored the first goal, Croatia looked like the better team. They were the ones who had the ball. So what Argentina did was to allow them have the ball, which they haven't done much in this competition. It was Argentina that was playing more and more on the breakaway. And with the pace of Julian Alvarez, the vision and the passing of Messi dropping into those holes, you knew that Argentina would cause them problems. And a ball over the top exposed the entire Croatian defense. At no point in the game against Brazil were they that open, because it was Brazil that had the ball and they played, so deep. They played a very deep, low block, defending with numbers. But Argentina's first goal showed you that what they did against Argentina was at variance with what had brought them success in this competition. They falsely believed that they could have a go at Argentina. Just a simple ball over the top, put Julian Alvarez through on goal, one-on-one with the keeper. And even though he didn't quite get the kind of shot he was expecting to score with, the goalkeeper collided with him, and Messi was presented an opportunity to score from a few yards away. and obviously wasn't going to pass it off. He blasted into the roof of the net. And from that point on, it was all Argentina. Croatia obviously had to come out to get, the leveler. And with that, it meant there was so much, even more chance, more gaps opening up for the Argentines to run into, especially in the wide areas. And trust this Argentina team, they fully exploited, those gaps, especially in the second half when Messi now began to run the show against some of the tiring Croatian players. Yes, Julian Alvarez scored the second, but I think everyone was at the end of the game talking about that Messi move that sort of rolled back the years in a way before the setting of the third goal, where he picked up the ball from his half, wide on the right side, and ran, paused, accelerated again from arguably one of the best defenders in this competition. Twisted and turned his way on the edge of the box.
But let me butt in quickly. We need to go on a break, and when we return from that break, we'll take it off from where you just left it, giving us your thoughts on that second semi-final, actually first semi-final, where Argentina booked their place in the final. Let's go for that break. We'll return for more Sports Tonight. All right, welcome back. The fans have been speaking. The whole tournament has been about the fans. They've been speaking. Some of the fans, their countries have crashed out a long time ago, but they plan to be here, and they're still here. So let's listen to a cross-section of fans, some from Mexico, from Germany, talking about the World Cup, talking about the things they've seen. Listen to that. We'll come back for more. Sports Tonight.
I think they are not using their chances, and I think France has a strong defense, and they use their chances in the front. So this is the result at the end. I think they will win the third place. They have to be more aggressive in the offense, and they have to use their chances. I think they wasted a lot of chances in this game.
I believe Morocco has the power to beat France, but they just give up in the first goal. The anemic position was the worst part because they fall down. They try hard to put the goal in the net, but it was unsuccessful. They need to push a little bit more. But France was a little bit better. France can be, in my opinion, can beat Argentina basically, but France in this game was a little relaxed. I don't see I don't see they have a problem with that game. Will be explosive. Europe against America. That will be a very good match. That's what everybody expects. This match everybody sees coming up. It was like a predictable, but it will be a good game, spectacular.
Welcome back, the fans. I mean, I don't know how it feels when your country is out, but you're still at the World Cup and you're talking about the games. All right, so let me ask the guy who actually interviewed them, because it's going to feel strange. Let me get to Austin. Austin, let me get your thoughts. You've never been in that situation anyway, but for those fans, knowing fully well that their countries are out, but they're still enjoying the football, talking about the other teams, kind of feels strange.
You get to understand the passion behind the game, the love for the game. And why I was even saying their countries have crashed out, I've met fans that their countries didn't even qualify, and they're right here at the World Cup, just to, witness the World Cup. I've seen almost the same number of Moroccans, same as Egyptians, and Egypt is now at the World Cup. Same with Nigeria. I've seen loads of Nigerians in Qatar, and I'm saying, gracious goodness, we're everywhere. Something just even come to what they are volunteers for FIFA, they're working in different capacity, and it just tells that people truly love the game, So when you listen to some of these guys talk, for instance, I met a journalist, he's from Saudi Arabia, and he said, look, he just lives to see Messi win the World Cup. So he bought his ticket for the first 2 weeks, and then he had to go extend it because Argentina made it to the final. So yes, Yemi, it's all for the love of the game. Yeah. I don't think they hold any hard feelings when their teams crash out.
Okay, all right. Before we talk about the final, let's do the big one first. we'll still have the third place to deal with, Croatia and Morocco. Bada is still with us, but I'll go with you first. Croatia, Morocco, what should we expect? A third place is always an anticlimax. The losers final, that's what it is. The coach may want to try out, want to give a chance to players who've not really played. You know, so sometimes form, something changes. But for Morocco, a lot of people are saying those guys are thinking they may not get this opportunity in a long time. So why not make the most of it?
I think it will not be a drab third place match because both teams have a date with history. Morocco wants to take it a step further with everything that they've done. It will be good to see the Atlas Lions end up finish this World Cup experience on the podium. And that will really do a lot for them. Croatia has got an aging team, and all of those guys are looking forward to creating history. You know, led by Luka Modric, they made it to the finals in 2018, and were unfortunate to lose. Now they were unfortunate to reach the final. Most of them will not be here in 4 years' time. It will be good for them to also leave with something to remember. So that's why that third place match would look like a mini final game, because both sides want to end it properly. They want people to talk about them for the right reasons. It's going to be one where they will say, okay, we've done this good. People have talked about us. Let's give it, a proper ending. So let's look forward to a cracker of a game. I've spoken to a lot of Moroccans in Doha, and they are charging their team. They're saying, look, we don't care if you didn't make it to the final. Go and give this a strong finish, win bronze at the World Cup, and so Africa can start getting the respect that we deserve.
All right. Thank you for that, Austin. Well, I mean, those two teams, they've met probably a couple of times. So let's just see if we can get the head-to-head before we get to Bada. Let's see Croatia and Morocco. What has happened on previous occasions. Let's see, and so that we take it from there. It's very, very interesting what we're going to see in the third place, whether or not there'll still be motivation for the two teams to continue, at least to try and get the bronze. We'll see. Only time will tell. So when we're ready, we'll just put that up, the head-to-head between those two countries. So while we wait for that, let me see if I can. Okay, that's it. This is just the information we've put together for you around that game. It's going to play on December 17. That's the third place game. The bronze medal is at stake. Croatia and Morocco will be up against each other. It's going to be at the Khalifa International Stadium, and it's going to be 4 p.m. Local time. All right, so let me bring Bada back into the mix. Bada, I want to get your thoughts, even though I want you to save your best for the final, but I want to get your thoughts on this one. But Austin feels the two sides will still be very motivated to play in the bronze medal game. I'm not particularly sure about that, but your thoughts?
I agree with Austin. I think that the two of them will come and try to finish this off on the highest possible note. The only difference here is that whereas the Croatian team is almost as at full strength as they were when the competition started, this is a super depleted Moroccan team. And that's where I think this game will be won and lost. I've backed the Moroccans from the very first whistle in this competition. I have loved, the solidarity they've shown, the defensive solidity, organization, discipline, and how they have stood up to every team that they've faced. But I feel that this one is a bridge too far, just because the quality that they've lost is almost irreplaceable. We saw it against France. The players that have come in for Roman Saiz and Aguerd in central defense, they aren't exactly of the same caliber. And let's not forget, whilst talking about head-to-head between Croatia and Morocco, both of them actually came out of the same group ahead of Belgium, the much fancied Belgium. So they played the opening game of that group between themselves and drew 0-0. So, I mean, these are two teams that know each other in a bit of way. And I just feel like those injuries will prove a bit costly for this Moroccan team. We saw, for all the possession they enjoyed against the French, there was no cutting edge, there was no bite in attack. They've lost too much quality. I think Croatia will win this one. It'll be close. The Moroccans always show heart. They will come out and fight again, in spite of all the exertions they've had over the last 2-3 weeks. But I just feel like the quality of the Croatian team overall would edge this third place for them.
All right. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the big one. Let's allow our viewers see the match details for the final. And none of us, even the bravest, predicted that at the end of the day, you're going to have Argentina and France in the final. Maybe one of them, but the two, no. Okay, our producer wants us to start first with the head-to-head. There you have it, Argentina and France, international friendlies. In 2007, they played. Argentina came out on top, 1-0. It ended. 2009, Argentina also came out on top in that friendly game. These are the results from international friendlies. They've also met at the World Cup, and of course, the last time they met, we know what happened. All right, match details for the final. It's going to be December 18 on Sunday. Argentina and France will play. The venue, the Lusail Stadium, 4 p.m. And of course, you know that last time out in 2018 at the World Cup in the second round, the French team defeated Argentina 4-3. That was at the World Cup. Ended the dreams of Lionel Messi in that one. All right, so that's it. But let me just quickly go back to Bada now. Once we're done with this and we know what's going to happen, Bada, let me just quickly ask you. A lot of people have been saying they're making it look it's team sport, but it's looking like it's an individual. They're already saying Mbappe, Messi. I mean, I think it's much more than that. But a lot of people are saying that, and if Mbappe wins, for instance, I mean, we're going to start comparing with Pele, and France will be the first country to be able to do back-to-back after Brazil did it in 58 and 1962, although the Italians have done theirs earlier. And, of course, there's this issue about whether or not Messi will be considered as one of the greatest to ever play the World Cup if he wins. I mean, they're saying all of that depends on if he wins the final. So you look at all of that. Does it overshadow the game itself?
Football has always been about big personalities. I don't think it takes anything away from the game. If anything, it adds on to the drama, the sheer anticipation, the reason to watch. Messi, without a doubt, has dominated world football since he burst onto the scene in the mid-2000s. And if there's anything that maybe was missing on his CV, he was always winning this trophy. Came agonizingly close in 2014, lost in extra time to the Germans, Mario Götze, breaking Argentinian hearts then. But for a man who's won 7 Ballon d'Ors, won, I think, 4 Champions League trophies, won over 10 league titles, won several cup competitions, won the Copa del Rey. I mean, you can go on and on. This just looks like the crowning glory. And it's no surprise everyone is talking about this being about Messi, because it will be a fitting finale, a fitting farewell from this stage. It will be, the perfect way to bow out. Having played in 5 competitions, he's gone on now to become Argentina's highest goal scorer ever, overtaking the great Gabriel Batistuta for Argentina. He's Argentina's all-time leading scorer. He's Argentina's leading assist maker in history. Messi has become almost synonymous with Argentina. He's almost, just from a stats and record standpoint, he's almost completely obliterated a certain Diego Maradona. All of the records that were originally held by Maradona, this man has taken all of them. As a matter of fact, during this World Cup, he also tied Maradona for the number of assists by an Argentine at the World Cup. If he gets another one in the final, he will outrightly be by himself as the Argentine with the highest number of assists at the FIFA World Cup. So, as I said, it's only normal. It's only very, very expected that people will make this about Messi, because of all that is riding on it for his career. For whatever reason, Argentina don't win. Of course, there will still be those who believe that, well, he's still one of the greatest, if not outright the greatest player in history. I'll be one of those. I don't think that he needs to actually win this one to validate all of the incredible work he's done over the last 20 years as a standout footballer for me, in terms of, what he brings, assists, goals, semi-assist, dribbles, take-ons, all of these things. There's nobody in world football who's come any close to this little magician over the last 20 years or so. And I know the debate about him and Ronaldo will rage on maybe till the end of time. But personally, I think that, he's clear Ronaldo. And if he wins this, he just might have cemented his place alongside the Maradonas and the Peles, whose only, difference right now, distinguishing factor is the FIFA World Cup. But again, look at Kylian Mbappe. At just, 23? It's already in the second FIFA World Cup final. Was the best young player at the last one, without a doubt. And he's coming to this one, obviously the best French player so far, even though he hasn't scored in the last 2 games, but he has 5 goals. He's tied on 5 goals with Lionel Messi. So you look at the French team, Mbappe is the standout footballer. Look at the Argentine team, Messi is the standout player. And going into this one, it's almost inevitable that people say it is Messi versus Mbappe. And whoever, manages to score or manages to inspire his team to victory would have maybe cemented his place in history as the best player in this competition, as well as maybe the highest goal scorer of the competition. And if that person happens to be Messi, then a lot of people globally, will finally rest the debate as to who the real GOAT is, because it just seemed like that was the only, achievement missing from his CV. And once that is done, for a lot of people, Messi just goes down in history as the greatest of all time.
All right. You talked about, you referenced Emmanuel Macron the other time. I think it's only fitting that we talk about him a little. I hear him say something. Apparently, the 2 players play for the same club, Kylian Mbappe and Lionel Messi. And the French president, Emmanuel Macron, has been making jokes about what he prefers, how he likes Messi at his club and not at his country. But let's quickly listen to the French president, Emmanuel Macron. There's had a little bit of spice to it, talking about Lionel Messi. We'll come up for more on Sports Tonight.
He's a great player when he plays in Paris, but I prefer him in Paris than his national team. So we will do our best. No, we have a lot of respect for this team. This is a wonderful one, but I think the French team is well prepared. We have very experienced and very young players, and I think the mix of both is absolutely incredible. And I'm very confident in this chemistry, and I think this is a team with a lot of willingness, generosity, and you will have 68 million people backing them, and I will be part of them.
All right. Football is very, very huge, very, very big. The president of France, wading into it, the discussion, that final is going to be very big. Let me bring Austin into the discussion now. Let's talk about France and Argentina. Bad has helped us to put it in perspective. There's no way you talk about this game. You're going to talk about Lionel Messi and Mbappe. There's no way that there are factors in this game. But from a neutral standpoint, Austin, let's talk about both teams. What do you think Argentina needs to do to win? What do you think France should do if they want to win back-to-back?
So Argentina picks themselves right back up from that embarrassing defeat, opening game defeat to Saudi Arabia. And then suddenly they are in the final. So whatever it is that they did right after that defeat, they should keep doing it. But the problem is they're meeting another team that has been solid, that gets better match after match. Look, when I saw the lineup Coach Didier Deschamps rolled out against Morocco, I said, Morocco should be able to run over this team. But remember when I told you that Deschamps has instilled some level of discipline and responsibility into this French team, that the moment you are given an opportunity to play, you need to take it. You need to prove a point because he's got options everywhere. That's what has been doing for this French team. Same thing has happened with Argentina, but it's just that we can point to one man, Lionel Messi that is spearheading this team. And that's why every fan I've spoken to in this country, I will ask Argentina versus France, who will win? They will say Messi. 90% of Qatari football fans are rooting for Argentina because of Messi. And look, this Argentina team, they've shown some discipline, they've shown some, commitment, they've shown a lot of, grit, teamwork, they've stayed focused, and they keep getting better match, game after game. Look, it's going to be very difficult. And you listen to that Mexican, football fan saying it's going to be spectacular. I totally agree. You just can't say where this one will go because I think they have almost the same record in the competition. France lost to Tunisia, Argentina lost to Saudi Arabia, and then both sides have been getting better and better. If you want to take a look at the previous matches, it's difficult to go through that. Argentina won friendly game. So this game will boil down to strategy, determination, tactics, and who wants it more. And I think at the end of the day, football will give us the winner.
Yeah, we're pressed for time. I'm being told that we have to quickly wind this up. But before I do all of that, I want to get your view and I want to get Bada's view. We have to leave the final the way it is. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to ask you for your prediction. I won't do that to you.
I anchored the show too. I wasn't going to answer you. Bada is the guest. Let him answer you.
All right. Let's talk about Portugal. And surprise, surprise, we're not talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. We're talking about the man that has been there for close to 8 years, Fernando Santos. He has finally stepped down after Portugal crashed out. Your thoughts?
I think it was a wrong move. Maybe he's just doing it to say, look, enough is enough. I've tried and it's not happening. I believe a lot in stability and continuity. If you take a look at the French team, you could tell that's what they're enjoying. But then again, you want to look at Morocco with Coach Wali just coming in August and he's done all what he has done. But I'm not surprised he's here. He knows that most of these guys that he's got in the team will not be in the team again. And probably Coach Santos isn't ready to start building. So goodbye to the Portuguese team.
Let me just quickly switch to Bada and get his own thoughts on the Portugal manager. I mean, a lot of people will remember his time. He won Euro 2016. He's done so well. Has built this team. This team can finally play without Cristiano Ronaldo. So you could say that they're having a nice time and they will be contenders for the next Euros. So why step down? But your thoughts?
I think Fernando Santos has looked at the team and thought to himself, I have pushed this team as far as it could possibly go. Let me hand it over to someone else. You mentioned winning the Euro Championships against all odds. They were not fancied in that competition, remember. As a matter of fact, they had a wretched group stage,
record
in that competition where I think they won one game or something, drew against Hungary, lost another, but went on to win and then won the UEFA Nations League, I think 2 years later as well. So Fernando Santos will go down in history as the most decorated manager of the Portuguese national team. And he doesn't want to soil the good work that is done by overstaying. There's something called leaving when the ovation is loudest. He hasn't exactly done that in this case, but before it goes from bad to worse, he's decided that, hey, let me call time over my period in national team and let someone else take over. And you'd agree with me, Portugal is one of the countries with the highest number of top managers in world football. So they will not find it difficult to replace Fernando Santos. Whether that manager is now able to deliver the same level of success that he did will be what remains to be seen.
All right. Bada Kiduri Johnson, I want to thank you for your time on the show today. Hopefully we'll do this some other time.
Thanks for having me as always.
All right. And of course, also, let me say a big thank you to Austin as well. But you're going to be back on the other end once the World Cup is done. We'll be doing this together. So a big thank you to you as well. I know you've been busy. Keep up the good work.
Always a delight. Let's do this again tomorrow. Yeah. Good night.
All right. And of course, I don't know if we have a little more time for Parasport, but I guess that's the show today. That's the much we can take. Hopefully, we'll have a lot more time on our hands tomorrow to take you on the trip across the money-spinning world of sports. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.